Okay, welcome at the video about the conclusions of my previous video, how is the cornering technique. Not for everybody this is known, of course, within the app it is known, but outside the app in my YouTube channel it's not known. I am an OG member of the Moto Academy. I posted the video of the cornering on my YouTube channel, and I posted this in the Moto Academy app for feedback. Now, for those who do not know the Moto Academy, just do a Google search and you'll figure out what it is about. A few technical things that I discovered when making this post the first time in the Moto Academy 2.0 app. I created a video with the ratio 16:9. But that does not really display in landscape in the Moto Academy app if you're looking on your iPhone. So yeah, you can hold your iPhone as you see here in landscape, but to get it, the video is not turning around. The strange thing is, if I run the video and the app on my iPad and then I put it in landscape, then it works. So I would say it's a small thing for the guys of that app to make it work also on the iPhone in landscape format. I created this thumbnail, they call it, and it should be 1280 by 720. And initially when I posted this, it did not show correctly on my iPhone. If I look at it again now, later on, it seems to center nice, but in the beginning when I posted it was every time a little bit off. The question that I have here written down, but that's then maybe for Nate. So what is the ideal thumbnail resolution in the TMA app? In the beginning, we could not really upload big videos. I was really surprised that I could upload my YouTube master, and the total file size is 875 megabytes. So I was a little bit surprised that I was able to do that, but in itself, that's handy, because it means I only need to make one master, one for the YouTube channel, and I can immediately use that in the TMA app. Another technical thing for myself that I noticed was that I was trying to figure out how fast the corners were, and I tried to edit everything into one video as well. And it took me quite some time, I can tell you. I think it took me more than 6 hours or something for getting that information out of that, and I did it also on 2 different moments because I was very unsure about how accurate is that measurement if I do that from a starting point in the video and a stopping point somewhere in the video. I think my error, because I did it a few times, is about 3 frames, and since I'm doing 30 frames, that is 0.1 second. So in itself, it's pretty accurate if you do a measurement in your video, I think. But still, if you come from a slightly different angle with your motorcycle, very easily it's a length of motorcycle difference. Yeah, and how much frames is that? I do not know. Also, because I wanted to compare in a different way all the corners all at once, I created the 3x5 matrix, as you see over here, screenshot. But that was really hard to render on my computer. I got a new computer, but even there's also too much for this computer as well. Yeah? And 3x5, it's meaning you're running 15 videos all at once, so to say, and then scale down, that is a little bit hard. Funny is that after it is completely rendered, then you can smoothly scroll through it and it works, so it's nice for analysis. Then more from a practical point of view, I realized I created this video with a fixed camera position, but when I was making the video, the first edit, I immediately noticed that it was quite hard to do an analysis of what you see the rider do. In this case, it was me, of course. And so it's much easier if you can keep the rider, I was doing the movement, if you can keep it sort of in the middle of the frame, as if the camera is following the rider. Now, that was not done originally, so what I did was I used reframing in my edit, and it was again quite some work, because some of them, they went immediately fine, and some of them, they had to do them 10 times over before it was something. So getting that done was quite something. But let me show you what I mean, because the looks says more than I think. So this is corner 6. First show you how originally the movie was made, so that is this one. And after that is how I created the edit, this inclusive sound. Now, I hope that you see what I did. So I did a reframing as if a cameraman is following, but also I changed the zooming. Of course, the noise gets worse and the quality gets less, but it still feels that the cameraman is following that person. And it becomes easier, I think, to interpret what the person is doing on that motorcycle. So that is a practical thing that for every next maybe movie that we create, I have to do that reframing always, because it's easier to look at what the person is doing on the bicycle. Then another a little bit practical, but also a little bit technical thing is that I recorded with my action camera 2K 7/16:9 and then 30 frames a second. I felt that I wanted to look at the materials in slow motion because it is, when it's coming by, it's going quite fast. And in my editor, of course, I can scroll back and forth. But I think if you would maybe want to compare 1 or 2 or 3 things in sequence and what the rider is doing, I think slow motion footage is easier to compare because it's easier to see with your eye what's going on, because the movement itself is quite fast and what the person is doing is also quite fast. Now then, the general observation that I have, but also the guys who did look at it and give some response to it. Looking at 15 corners in sequence or in a series, it's very hard to compare them. That's at least what everybody figured out. And AJ came up with the idea, let's take 5. Yeah. The question that I have then as editor is, how do I pick 5 out of, in this case it were 15, but maybe next time it's 12 or whatever. So how do you pick out that 5 ones? Then still you have to do the analysis maybe upfront, seeing which one you like to show. Maybe that it points something that goes wrong or what goes better or whatever. So still the analysis needs to be done of all the corners, I guess, unless I could do it wrong and correct on purpose. That's not the case currently. I added 7 questions to the post in the Moto Academy app, and most people said, okay, that's too much. AJ said, keep it less or equal to 5. Personally, I feel I can only add 1 or 2 questions. So it's my pitfall to add so many questions in there. I think as you're writing, you can only focus on 1 or 2 things really. And if I show a video and I want people to look at it in detail, you can also only ask for 1 or 2 things. I think that is the max. Else you have to look at it so many times before you can observe something. What I did not say in the post or in the app what my personal focus was during the recording. So I tried to pay attention to. The first thing was to get a flowy corner. So not a start-stop corner. I don't like these things. I want to have a smooth corner. I wanted to go as fast as possible, but okay, this is the fastest that I could do. The other thing that I had in my mind, I always have my leg just hanging there somewhere over here most of the time. So I paid attention during these corners to keep my leg higher. Now, at least you see this is then maybe the worst situation. I think there was one even worse. But most of the time my foot was around where the axle is. But that was the highest that it got. I think this is the highest. The funny thing is that when the rider was in front of me and doing an exit of the track, and you see I'm not even hanging at all, I even kept my leg up. When I was riding the whole track, and every time I came back to this corner, at some point in time, I also decided, hey, I have to use more of the corner. What do I mean? Is that on the entry, you see here, for instance, at corner 7, I'm at halfway of the track. But if we go to somewhat later corner, so number 12, then I'm right on the edge at the beginning already of the corner. So it means that when you enter the corner, you do not make a more quick angle there or sharper angle. You just keep one angle from the beginning to the end of the corner. And now it turned out, if I look further, I only show you here 2 lines, but that towards the end, I was doing that better. While in the beginning, I was not focusing on that. Okay, then going a little bit over the questions. So I asked which is the fastest corner, and the persons in the app could only look to the videos in the sequence, and you see that Ralph, Mike, and Andrew, they picked at least 7, and Mike and Andrew also 10. They could not decide probably. AJ went for 6, and personally, to be honest, I had no idea. So the only thing what I did was, okay, let's make it factual. So what I did was I timed in the videos all the corners from a starting point somewhere in the video and an ending point somewhere in the video. And it turns out that corner number 9 and 11, they were the fastest. And corner number 7 and 12, they're very close as well, but to each other, so to say. So that is for me the second fastest corner, and 13, 14, and then number 6 are again very close to each other. So I call that the number 3 in speed. So yeah, if we then look to the guesses from the looks, I think Ralph and Mike, you did a very good job. You identified 7, so that is number 2 in the whole speed thing. The number 10, as you can see, is not in this list, so that is really slower. AJ number 6, well, it's the slowest in this table, but you have to think about that the error that I make here can be up to 3 frames, so that's again 0.1 second. But again, okay, nobody identified 9 and 11 as the fastest one. Since I calculated all these numbers, I thought, well, let's calculate the overall average that I do in this corner. That was 5.75. If I remove the corner 2 and 4 where people were in front of me, I drop a little bit in average speed, so let's say 5.6. And you see that is already the number 3 of this corner. So as AJ liked this corner a lot, well, I should do all corners like this. That would be nice. And since I have all the numbers, the corners 2 and 4 were the slowest because there I had the persons in front of me. And if we then look at all the speeds, but then without the corner 2 and 4 because I had an extra person in front of me, the slowest was the first corner, 5.83 seconds. Well, I think all of the corners were quite close to each other, so I'm pretty happy with that. What I do notice is that, if a person is in front of me, I have to come up with another line that also works well, so I have to work on that, clearly. Okay, here I showed an overview of all the corners. It's starting here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on and so on. And it's all at the time 5 seconds and 8 frames. That's what it means here. And that is also, at least for this video, it's, let's say, the finishing shot. And you can also see, I took this yellow thing that is on the track. It's an indicator to exit the track here. And you see how far away on the other videos I am. Because you see that this one, I say it's 1 frame difference, but really it's maybe half a frame difference. So really 9 and 11 is sort of the same. But you can see, okay, 12, that is a little bit different. And 6, you can also see he has some bike lengths to go. Which corner did you like most? Now, Mike and Andrew, 9 plus 10. He said, okay, you entered with more speed. I think it's really a feeling. I did not really investigate it into that because I could with these matrix view now. Local A plus 3 and 6. Stood nice, late, keep momentum, smooth acceleration. AJ was also a fan of 6. I set at the perfect spot, smooth throttle, back straight on exits, nice flow overall. My personal favorite was number 8. That's also what you see here in the photo. Why? Because there's this stupid jump over the inside rut, so to say, and it just looks cool to me. But if I look at this still over here, you see my rounded back. Also, my elbow is hanging down. It's terrible, but okay. It looked funny to me. The question number 3, how would this corner go faster? Now, at the track, you could not see it's outside, let's say, the frame. There was a guy, Gertjan and Frans, they were standing next to the track. Frans started the video recorder for me, and they were pointing, go to the inside rut, but they did not know my whole purpose was to drive one line only. But I think indeed the inside will be faster. But the inside rut, the really inside rut, is really a small corner. It's I think more for an HCC or when you are exiting the track, because I think that's why it is there mostly. And we see here the outside rut, which was used by, let's say, the faster riders than me at least. And for me, it really looked too intimidating to do still. So that is something to work on for myself. Now, Mike and Andrew gave a good idea. Wait outside back and keep my knee tight. Not sure which knee he's referring to, but wait the outside back. Yes, I need to do that better. Later on, I have some pictures. You see that also that I'm not doing that very well. Local A-class, leave foot on back, and that means my left foot, so not stick it out, or stand the whole corner. Now, if to be honest, it is a a corner without many bumps. And yeah, you could stand the whole corner. But if I look on this day that I was there was none of the riders doing that. Although I have seen a rider doing that, but I would say he was faster than the fastest rider that I was on that day there. So yes, I can imagine that a person who's a very good rider can do that. For myself, I do not feel the need because there are no bumps. So for me, it feels safer to sit down, I guess. I'm not sure if that's a good reason, but that is the thing. AJ also indicated to take the inside rut. Yes, it's of course faster if you can do that. Or use the entire outside. I'm not sure why you say I do not use that, because in the previous slide I was explaining I was doing that more to the end. But maybe because I was showing you 15 of these things in sequence, you did not notice it. For myself, I also listen a little bit to the sound, and I compare myself always with a little bit these smaller guys who ride the 80cc or even the 65s. Yeah, already at the beginning of the corner, they just rev up and they start revving through the whole corner. And if you listen to what I'm doing still, I'm still doing blip, a little bit of gas, let go, blip, a little bit of gas, let go. And only at the end, I get my clutch and then make sure that I jump out of the corner. Now, I think it will be much faster if I could start earlier with a decent amount of revs and then just run through the corner. But that's my idea. And yeah, of course, I need to learn how to ride ruts, especially these deeper ruts. Still not happy with those. What corner was worst technique-wise? Now, Mike and Andrew indicated 4, AJ number 2. Myself, I also picked number 4, and that was when this rider was exiting. Yeah, it really slowed me down so much. Although I could have seen that this guy was exiting, so I could have taken here an inside or a shorter cut that I did not do. And why the hell was I keeping my leg here up? I have no idea. There's no reason to do that. Okay, then 5. What technique area should be improved first? So that was the next question. Mike and Andrew says, now leave the foot on the back and work on your upper body stability. Yeah, I noticed that myself as well. I did some dipping, etc. in corners, still not having one straight line or keeping the line straight, so to say. Local A class also leave foot on back or stand the whole corner. That was also a little bit in the previous answer. I think he gave one answer only, but you could interpret it for both questions, I think. AJ just indicates hips, hips, hips. What that means is he says, okay, you have to make sure that your butt sticking out more to the back. Yeah, the thing is also a little bit, I never put my t-shirt into my trousers, and I was really paying attention that my back was straight on this spot, so to say. Not earlier, so I have to say probably earlier that was not the case when my leg was sticking out. But on this spot, I was really paying attention that my back was a straight line, and I indicated here, and that I push my butt into the seat. Because if you do that, and when you give so much gas, you're not hanging on your arm so much, and you prevent arm bump. That's a simple trick that everybody can use. By the way, the corner 9, that was the fastest track, by the way. It was also the track where I put my foot back on the foot peg the earliest. That was at 4 seconds and then 3 frames. So still 1 second and a few frames to go. Was going well in most of the corners. Well, I got a less response, as you can see. So Mike and Andrew says, the throttle control, and he was sort of happy with the sitting after corner 5. And AJ also indicates throttle control. You did not make a stop and go corner. And he says your inside foot placement is pretty consistent. I already mentioned that I'm not so super happy with my throttle control. I think that could be better, but okay. The no stop go, that was also one of my goals, or my goals always, I would say. And the inside foot placement, yeah, that was, I tried to focus on getting it high, while normally it's really somewhere just banging on top of the soil somewhere. The last question, what part can you do better? Yeah, this question was not really for me to learn something, but it's more for the person who's looking at the video. Okay, what am I doing better what I see in the video? Yeah, it's learning both ways here. A few other observations I could make for myself. At corner number 3 and 5, I had the latest sit down. It could be much deeper even. In corner 4 it was later, but there was a rider in front of me. So let me show you there where that is. So here's just the point where I'm sitting down. Yeah, so watch out, this is 1 second and 23 frames, so there's almost 2 seconds in. Yeah, and the total time that is indicated here on top. So here you see me sitting down, and over here you see me sitting down. While the fastest corner over here and there, I'm already sitting down. Yeah, so that is not there. Yeah, and this one I'm still standing up quite straight, you could say. But yeah, I'm going also slower because that person is over there. Yeah, so that doesn't count to me. But if I look to these corners, yeah, I don't know, what is that? 45 degrees in? Something like that? I think that would be an ideal point to sit down, personally. But I tend to sit down way too early still. And I think that has having to do with the way I cannot brake in the right spot yet, still. Yeah, although it's getting better over time, but... Okay, some other observations that I make. I do a lot of sitting in C-shape, at least that is how I call it. What is a C-shape? Well, it means that the angle of my back is different from the angle of my motorcycle. I'm not 100% sure what is good or bad, but I think if you have a corner like this, where you have a lot of traction, because it is like going up, I think you do not really need the C-shape. You need the C-shape if it's a flat corner, but in a non-flat corner, I'm not sure if you need it. When I make this screenshot here, I know it's a little bit fuzzy, but I also noticed that my foot, and this is my the bottom of my foot, it is still pointing out. And when I made this screenshot and I saw this, I looked at all the corners one more time, and I'm almost doing it in all the corners. So I have to work on getting my toe in and keeping it tight to the frame. The C-shape I visualized a little bit more in the matrix again. So you see how many C's in this matrix I have. So there's a lot of C's. I made some small C's as well because it was less of difference between the back and the angle of the motorcycle. But there's a lot of C going on. So I'm doing a cornering here as if it is a flat track. So it almost feels like I'm still not willing to lean in. No, how to overcome, I do not know. Another observation, in 8 corners I stand up after exit of the corner. So on the exit I gave a lot of gas, and yeah, it's not a long straight before the next corner is there, but because there are bumps going towards that corner and also going into the corner, it is always better to stand than keep on sitting. 8 out of 15. Well, okay, it's not good, it's not bad, but it's work in progress, I always say. And I indicated here on the matrix again where I had the stand after exit. These are the conclusions.